G'day everyone, welcome to the Opal Mills. Today's hands proudly brought to you by the wheel, Ascent from hot wax, and nails by Flat File. Flat File for when rough enough's good enough. No, today we're gonna make a dice again. This time out of boulder. Ironstone anyway. There's flecks of purple in amongst it, I think. If I'm not wrong. Maybe I am. Round all the purple off, Phil. Oh, there we go. There's a fleck. Try and retain that bit while we put a hole in there somewhere for numbers. But yeah, so these are going to be the dice, and we're going to use all the leftover from subscriber parcel for inlay. So a lot of these pieces look like, hey, why don't you cut a stone out of that? They're fractured and micro fractures, splits all through a lot of this, unfortunately. But I am thinking for inlay, perfect. So we'll pick some really nice pieces. Let's see if I can get that bit to work. Hopefully, maybe. Might be a bit too thin actually. Yeah, we'll see. We'll pick some nice bits and we'll make a really nice dice. So I'll start picking through here, select out the bits, head over to the wheel and start tidying some up. And then we've got to drill some holes for the inlay. And we're going to do that with a Dremel and a ball bit. Here's one I prepared earlier. A little grind ball. This is one my dad, I'm teaching him how to make. So yeah, we just sink some holes and then we'll mix up the resin and set them. So yeah, I'll pick some of these out and show you what I've come up with. Alright, so here I've picked out some bits and sliced them up. This was that bit that had a crack through it. There's not much else that I could do, but I'm pretty sure it's two nice little inlays there. This piece had a crack through it, pretty much fell apart. That's not the rest of it. Don't know, rest of it somewhere. But yeah, anyway, some fractures and whatnot in them I've still got to work around, so some of them are a bit oversized still, they've got to be cut down. That one's going to be hard because I've got to leave the colour bar just poking up on the surface so you can bring it down, but not so it disappears. So you need a thick enough bar. That one's borderline. We'll use it. Yeah, we'll just tidy some of these bits up and see what we can get out of them. So heading over to the wheel in a sec. That's another one. This was all broken and fractured. You can still see a fracture running through it. Hopefully that sits just under. I'll take the rest of that out on the bottom. It's more like a healed fracture, that one. This looks like another one running through the side there. So I'll probably stick over this side of the stone. I cut it. You know, it's got a really nice flash right there. Oh, should I? Yeah. So anyway, when I line up the dop stick, I'll put it right on the spot I want to keep and then cut it to fit. So I'll clean these up, but we are going to have to put the holes in this first before I actually cut each one. What we'll do is we number each hole, and I've got to line out and number each stone on the stick, keep track of it, because each one will go in a specific hole. Even though they're same ball bit, sometimes get a slight fraction wider than some. It's not always an accurate science. So anyway, all right. Appears I've gotten ahead of myself in more ways than one. So first things, I'm just going to start putting the lines on this so I can do the dremeling, and then I'll just do all the stones in one hit without mucking around and backwards and forth and double handling. So secondarily, I'm eligible to live stream theoretically. I've just got to wait for YouTube to catch up with the program, and it's all manual therein, so it's not a computer organised thing. They personally go through and accept everyone as a YouTuber. So I've got to wait for their review to come back saying, yep, you're all good. Push the button saying he can go live. So yeah, it's not happening straight away. Don't know why I expected it would. So I've crossed the T's and dotted the I's and everything and verified myself up the wazoo. So hopefully that's just waiting for them to get back to me. Everything says pending. So as soon as they say yay, we're all good to go. So much for me thinking I was going to go live last weekend, or this weekend I'm on. It's Monday, so the weekend just gone. But I spent all weekend doing all that, trying to figure out why I can't live stream, and I've gone through and researched everything, and it just says, well, due to COVID, we're also going to take a little bit longer maybe, due to the fact of everything. So anyway, we'll persevere with these videos anyway, as I was going to do anyway, as well as the lives. So I'll just keep doing this one I was hoping to get to this in a live, actually talk through some of it more than what I'm doing here. But anyway, I'm just going to start putting dots on this. First things first, we've got to mark out where the dots are going to go. So I'll just shuffle this across. Let's see if I can speed this up for you. So I'll just do it. But let's pick there's a hole there. So that'd be good to cover up with a spot if possible. Although it does go too close to the edge there, it might make a mess of the glue going in there. So we might avoid that spot actually. There's a corner missing here. So these corners are all going to get rounded anyway, so I'm going to cater for that in there. So that's why it also needs to come in a bit with the dots. That might be good for a number 2. That way you, avoid this side altogether. Just put a dot here and a dot here. This one I reckon should be probably a 3. So if we do a 3 there and have it going across that way, avoid that corner altogether, and it can just be whatever it's going to be. It'll get polished over and it'll just be a little divot. It's not perfect stones, this stuff. Sometimes it's got a few little porosities and holes, as you can see here. 1, 2. Little pit holes and that, but that's naturally in the stone, so that's quite fine. So if that's a 2 and that's a 3, 2 there means 4. I probably shouldn't do it like that. Just write a 4. So 2, 4. Where's our 3? Hang on. No, it's 2, 5. 3, 4. Leaves the 1 and the 6. So that can be the 6. And that can be the 1. There we go. All sorted. So the next thing is finding out the centers for the, okay, this is going to be, where are we? The 1. So this 1 needs a dot right in the middle. So rough enough's good enough. Between this corner here and this corner here, I'm just going to do a freeform line. Same again there. So yeah, looks pretty central. So that's the 1. So that'll be a 6 this side. So there's nothing in the center, so we don't need to mark the center. So it's a little bit longer this way than that way, which isn't very good. But it's a novelty dice, not an actual balanced, let's use it in a game dice. I wouldn't rely on its accuracy to be random. So anyway, if that's a 6, we can go ahead and run a line, and they go about 4 to 5 mil by sight. As someone in the joinery trade, we're kind of used to putting marks that are pretty roughly accurate. So actually I'm going to check it. Just going to spout my mouth off. So if we put that there on that line, you're looking at, look at that, dead on 5 mil. So that's a 5mm inset. I'll see if I can accurate it this side too. Just be a little bit over, I think. Yeah, it's just a touch over. So we just fatten a line. And in my head I remember that mentally for later. So there we go, 5mm. And so we're going to go 5mm again just to keep it square. And to be honest, I should probably just go ahead and run these lines all the way around the dice for the other numbers to keep them roughly accurate. Okay, so back to the 6, we'll run 5mm here. And for the 6 being elongated, 1 through the middle. So there we go. This will be the 5. So it needs these ones. And one of these. And that helps guarantee you a little extra line running through a center. Gives you more of a central piece to aim for. There's a 3. Gives us our marks, 1, 2, 3. This will be a 2. It's going to run diagonally. 6, 1, 4, 3, 5, 2. Yep, that'll do. So, bring back the water. This is where we now sink our holes. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll start with the number 1 and I'll show you this one and explain a little bit about what I'm going to do. So you've got to keep your ball pressure straight in a straight line because you don't want to go in on the angle, you want it to go straight down. And even though I'm going to be moving the ball around, I've got to keep the pressure towards the center of the stone to keep that hole going towards the center. Otherwise we'll have an offset hole, which will make an offset, yeah, it'll make it harder to set a stone in there that's offset shaped. So we'll keep it as accurate as we can. And the ball goes in to just past halfway. We don't put the ball right inside and sink it all the way through. We just put it down so that the widest part is obviously the middle of the ball, so we need it down there as far as the wide middle, and just to sink it down a bit further because we are going to face it afterwards, which is going to take a little bit of this surface away, and we don't want it to just start shrinking. Okay, a little light on the subject. Power. There you go. That's in a little bit for you. So keep it under the surface of the water preferably, and we'll just mark it. You can see if we're touching the centre. We're happy with that spot, we keep going there and don't let it go one way or the other, off centre. And that way, as you can see, this ball is a little bit, not ball, it's sort of squished that way. So it's probably fatter than it is tall. So I'm just going to keep rotating this to go around it, just to make sure I'm evenly attacking it. Alright, so we've basically set our spot. There's no changing it left or right too much because we're almost too wide to shuffle it off to the side and reset it. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to keep going. And I'm just going to move the stone and the bit around. It's a bit of hand coordination here, but you don't want it to just sit there spinning in the track. Otherwise it's like a car. Once you're down to the axles, it's just sitting there spinning, it's not taking anything down. Moving it round, on a microscopic scale you'd see these bits attacking the structure next to it, that it's, with the ups and downs. You need to move it around so it eats away everything. Where I can just rest it down on the ground, keeping it in the spot. I'll just keep turning it around. As you can see, the hole starts getting bigger and bigger. It's still central. Remembering you don't want it to go off center, so it's always pushing, even if it's like this, I've got to keep going straight down. Now we're starting to reach the center of the ball, where the ball is nearly, see if I can capture this, it's nearly, well, it's just past the halfway mark in there. And so we'll go down just a touch further, and you've got to watch this top edge. You don't want to start rolling it out and skipping off, because then you get a run that the glue's going to feel. It looks horrible. Right. That's that. Sorry guys. So there's our hole. As I said, you can see that the ball goes in just past the halfway mark. Because we're going to take this down a touch, we want to make sure that, yeah, it doesn't shrink. And we're going to give it a little dome base, so it sits right down in the hole too. And then a little, like a plug with a dome top. And then the plug's going to go dome end in, poking out slightly, and hopefully the colour bar, we won't leave it sitting out too high, ducts just under the surface, and then as we take the top off the plug, the colour will be revealed. We'll polish up the surface all in one hit, and it'll bring these two into alignment and not polish too much of the colour away. At the same, a few little things you just got to, yeah, take into consideration when making these from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and keep doing the rest of these, and then we can get to cutting the inlay. So here we go. So that took roughly 50 minutes to do 21 holes. It's 2 and a bit minutes a hole. It didn't take really that long if you consider each hole. So that's not over pressurizing the Dremel bit either, because I don't want to burn it out. I wanted it to keep going and going and going, so you just let it grind it a bit, and it doesn't take long. It's just a bit of patience. So there we go. Now we can dot up the inlays and start numbering them as I cut each one to each specific hole. These holes aren't too bad. One thing I messed up was on this side, where I decided I was going to leave all that chip bit with a 3 across the center and make the 4 that side. Oh well, here's what it is. I rubbed my lines out and lost track of what I was doing, but I got the 3, 4, 2, 5, 6, 1. That's the main part, I think, for a dice. So I'll start dopping up these inlays and we'll start getting over to cut them. Okay, just to quickly show you, these sticks are so small, just to number them, I've gone 1, 2, 3, and then 5 is represented by a short line, which follows short line and 1, 6, short line and 2, let's run away, 7, 8. 10 is represented by a longer line with 1 through the center. Therefore, 15 will be a long line with 1 through the center and a short line. 20, you got a long line with 2 short lines in it. So, short little numbering system. I wouldn't go too high counting like that or it would get a bit confusing. It's a variation on Roman numerals I just made up. So that's how I'll keep track of it. So I'm just going to number these. Obviously that'll be 1. I'll do a light on this, sorry. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so forth. So I'll start numbering them and then we'll get over and cut these to their numbers. Cut by numbers. Okay, so I'll get camera to focus. So all the numbers are on them. 1 through 21. Over to the wheel. Right, I'm going to start with number 1, just to make sure this one fits in. I just need it to sit and touch the bottom with a bit poking out. This one's a bit, not much to it, but it's a really nice colour. So I'm going to make it work whether it's a nice dome top to sit in or not, doesn't matter, the glue will fill the gaps. As long as the surface that comes out is the right main part. Okay, so here I've got it in a nice shape and it's the right size, just. I don't want to bring it in so the top's just thinner than the hole, risking. So what I'm going to do is taper it. So instead of holding the stick flush up against it, I'm going to bring it out on an angle a bit and create a plug shape. Just tap the bottom. sure it's nicely going a little bit further, I think. Roughly about there, because we've got to leave enough colour under the surface, which is good, you can see that. But we don't want to go down too far, where we've got nothing to take back. It can go slightly down a touch further. So what we're doing is removing that which is obstructing it. We'll just touch that and see if that's what's doing it, or whether it's the width. Let's say it's the width. It's about as far down as I want to go. So one is done. I'll get on with the rest of these and come back after, I think. Okay, here we have 21 inlay pieces ready to ready to be inlaid. That way up, so that colour bar sits up the top, and they sit just under the surface, well, above the surface, sorry, and they'll be ground back just a touch. So there's enough colour there to get that to happen. So I'm gonna do this again with the oxide, araldite, and I'm just gonna mix up and inlay them as I go. So I'll try and capture as much of this as possible. Start with one. Pretty sure it's this one. She's going to look really nice. Very bright. Jeez, I hope that goes. I think that stays above the surface. Yep. That should go. Alright, so I'll get the steering stick and stuff like that ready and come back. Okay, got an extra bit of light here. Got our number one. I've sorted these out, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So I'm ready to go. I'm just going to do a little bit at a time so I don't make too much mess. Touch of that. So you really don't need too much at all. So because I'm using smaller amount, it may dry on me, set on me very quick. So I don't know. So we'll get that stirred in. It's pretty well done. Just put a dollop in the number one and try and get it to go right down the bottom with no air bubble. So give it a good squish around. Stick there. Seat number one. Snap it off. number 1. So there we go. I'm going to let that sit there and dry and do its thing. And then we'll come back and it's a bit unfortunate about that one. It should be alright once I peel it back a bit. It'll look apart. So there. That's how you do that. Just as easy. No, I'm joking. Takes a bit of practice. Don't get your fingers stuck together. Playing out how you're going to handle it. And yeah. So we'll just sit that there for a bit. Might take it and get it into some warmth so it's not in the cold while it sets. And come back. Alright, so sometime later. Here we go. And we'll go over to the wheel and slowly peel this back to the face. And hopefully they don't get torn out. And hopefully this one comes good. there we have it, finished product. Sorry, I forgot to press record on part of that, so I've sort of ground some of the faces down. You missed it. I had to go turn the water up. I just paused it momentarily, but oh well. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the way this has turned out, especially that one I thought was a little bit, no, it's all good. Some nice little flashes out of each one. Some maybe not quite so much, just more of a, yeah, some colour there. Should be colour in all the bits. Some of them are a bit rolling flash, there you go. Looks grey. So where's the colour? Yeah, it's there. Yeah, really pleased with that. Turned out good. So, yeah, they're a little bit involved. They're not too hard to make, and it's something you can do with your leftover little bits and pieces that you're like, what do I do with it? Stick it in a jar, make it look pretty. Fish tank, it's like, get creative. It doesn't have to be a dice. You can make whatever you like. Other things with eyes for inlay. Little carvings out of boulder, ironstone I should say. So I'm not sure if any of the purple survived. Oh, there's a glint on the corner there. I don't know where that other, there was a patch in there, one, if I remember rightly. Not sure if I retained it or if we drummed it out. Yeah, I'm just playing. Anyway, one thing I might do, just to get an idea, it's kind of it's got a bit of weight to it, this does. Just to give you an idea. I haven't weighed it yet. Wow, 24 grams. So you're looking at, well, 123 carats. So 123 carat dice inlay. So anyway, I'll leave this one here. That's the, yeah, I've only got a little bit of carving to do, but I'm not sure if that'll make it onto film. Hopefully soon I'll be able to live stream. Yeah, just waiting for YouTube to register the program and say, yep, go for it. So as soon as that happens, I'll be straight on. Yeah, I've saved a couple of things for it, but it's time's going by. I'm going to have to get on with it. So I've got another subscriber parcel I've got to get to. I've got another ring I've got to make for a subscriber. And yeah, a couple of other things, some more matrix to cut and treat. Lots going on. Lightning Ridge opal to carve. Some of my stuff as well. So I don't just, yeah, it's been doing a lot of other work lately. It's, yeah, can't wait to get something done for myself soon. I can't wait to get myself one of these dice. So I have got one plan. Me and my dad are gonna sort of make one. That'll be mine. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.